Thank you, Chrissy, and great pleasure to be here. Thanks to the RIU team for inviting us. Great pleasure to provide an update on, as Chrissy mentioned, the fastest growing multi-asset lithium explorer. I thought before I get started, I just want to give everyone a bit of a scene set in terms of the demand profile for lithium going forward. So I've been in this sector more than 10 years. I've never seen stronger fundamentals as they relate to lithium. And people often ask me, brokers, investors, analysts, well, what is your view on demand for lithium? What is the true picture around demand? What I can say, demand for lithium is no longer a forecast. It's not a projection. These are real numbers. So I've seen the order books for most of the global battery cell producers, the biggest tier one players in Japan, Korea, China, Europe. This is an industry. We're very much at the infancy of this industry. The world needs so much more lithium supply. The world needs 50 more GL1s to be delivered in the next 10 years. So great pleasure to be here at this moment. I mean, that's the reason I've left Big Lithium and moved back to GL1 as an explorer. So just going through, this announcement was released on the ASX this morning, so please have a read at your leisure. So what separates us from our peers, firstly, as an overview, we've done a lot of work around our maiden inferred resource. We have close to 20 million tonnes at about 1.04% lithium. Importantly, this is at two projects. So the first in Marble Bar, one of the preeminent lithium production jurisdictions globally. We have a defined mineral maiden resource there of 10.5 million tonnes at 1%. Remember, this is just the start for us. A very similar geological setting as some of the other presenters have mentioned in relation to the Pilgangoora and Wodgina deposits. And secondly, at Mana, we acquired this project late last year under a really progressive joint venture together with Breaker Resources, fantastic joint venture partner. We have an 80% stake, and this is located about 100 kilometres east of Kalgoorlie. Again, another fantastic location to be producing lithium. There's a number of existing lithium assets under operation in that jurisdiction. And again, we've delivered a maiden inferred mineral resource of close to 10 million tonnes at this deposit. So for us, it's all about drilling this year. We've got a really significant campaign, around 80,000 metres at both locations. Marble Bar, we've commenced that program. Mana soon to commence. So a lot of really positive news flow coming out throughout the course of this year. So just to recap on the market, at a glance, we've got about 200 million shares on the register, market cap of about 450. We've only been listed for less than a year. In fact, we have our 1 year listing party on Friday back in Perth this week. And as you can see from our share price performance there, we've had a fantastic initial period. We were the best performing IPO on the ASX in 2021, and we've continued that momentum through into this year. And it's not really just on the back of sentiment. We're a company that's making moves, and we've undertaken a number of very strategic acquisitions. Obviously, our position at Mana, we've brought some really fantastic partners onto the register in the form of Suzhou TANA, a major lithium hydroxide producer in China, of course, Mineral Resources. And we've got a fantastic management team as well. So pretty tight register. And again, the strategics we have on the register are all about our company being vertically integrated and be able to leverage the strategic expertise from our cornerstone investors in Mineral Resources on the upstream and Suzhou TANA on the downstream. So a bit of an overview of the management. In the interest of time, I'm going to flick through this quite quickly, but a really strong board and management, more than 100 years in mining. I've been in the sector more than 11 years in lithium. Greg Lilliman, man who needs no introduction. Greg was 2IC to Twiggy Forrest at FMG, more than 20 years working for RIU, so a man who really understands the Pilbara. Hayley Lawrence is helping us out with our approvals and our ESG strategy as well. So a really great combination of technical and commercial skills on the board and management. And we're really growing out our Geo team as well and our community relations. It's an important part of our business. We're bringing our Geos in-house. It's a tight market out there. We understand the risk. We're bringing the guys on board, and actually having the guys in-house working for us, not only are we saving about a 30% premium by not having these functions outsourced, the big benefit for us is these guys are working with our drillers. So as the drill samples are coming out and being logged, they're able to identify visible spodumene, and that allows us to tailor our drilling campaign on the fly. So really, really important. Having these guys with very, very specific experience in the Pilbara and most importantly with spodumene. I won't talk too much about the market. Suffice to say, I'm really bullish. This is a market, and I know all the global OEMs, and they always say to me when I meet them, Ron, we're really surprised the uptake of our models. I say I'm not. You guys have brand allegiance. You have trust. The likes of Volkswagen, BMW, Mercedes, Daimler, Toyota. Brand allegiance is something that can't be underestimated in this sector. It's one of the reasons when these car makers bring new entries to market in the electric platforms, the adoption is really significant. So in parts of Europe now, we're talking 1 in 4 new cars sold is electric. In Germany, it's 1 in 3. Norway's 1 in 2. UK's 1 in 5. So we're already ahead of the curve in terms of penetration, and that's the reason we have such a tight market. The market's interesting in the sense that most of the demand is structured in the Northern Hemisphere in terms of global EV production, but 95% of the world's lithium comes from the Southern Hemisphere, and this is a fact that's probably lost by most. Australia accounts for more than 50% of global lithium supply in the form of Western Australia spodumene. About 30% comes from Chile in the form of brine, about 15% from Argentina, and there's small quantities being sourced from North America, Africa, and also China. This slide just touches on the fact that it's more than just an electric vehicle story in terms of lithium demand for the rechargeable battery sector. There are so many wonderful new products in the market now consuming lithium. And one of the markets that I think has tremendous future, no one really talks about it, is the energy storage sector. This is a sector that is going to grow very strongly in spite of the very unfortunate situation in Eastern Europe at the moment. You're going to see Germany moving very strongly in terms of energy storage. And also the aerospace industry, as we move into a post-COVID world, the likes of Airbus and Boeing are going to be flying more, producing more aircraft. They're under very strict CO2 emissions profiles, so we're going to see more lithium used in aircraft as an alloyed material. Why spodumene and why Western Australia? Well, Western Australia, as I mentioned, provides more than 50% of global lithium molecules to market. Really well branded. We've got brilliant commercial technical expertise in the state when it comes to lithium. And this is really important as part of the next wave of lithium projects to market in terms of reducing the risk, in terms of schedule, but also CapEx. I'll make this statement, and not lightly, Western Australia has the highest level of lithium expertise on a per capita basis anywhere on the planet, and that's really important. Speed to market's important. Spodumene hard rock. There's 5 existing plays in Western Australia. As I said, we have a lot of expertise. We've done it many times over, and we can deliver tonnes to market very quickly. Post-FID, typically 2 to 3 years. And the quality of lithium chemicals used in the electric vehicle industry, made from spodumene concentrate, is superior. A little bit on our partnerships, our strategics. We have signed a 10-year strategic offtake with Suzhou TANA, not a common name here in Australia, but certainly in China, a big player. They are associated with the CATL group. And this 10-year offtake is up to 30% of our production. Importantly, market prices from day one. I've been doing offtake in the lithium world for more than 10 years, and to have a deal with market, effectively a spot price from day one, is literally unheard of. So it's a really good deal. They're a really great partner, and they provide us access to that downstream lithium expertise. Mineral Resources, again, a company that has an unrivaled track record in terms of delivering hard rock projects. They're involved in 2 fantastic lithium projects in Western Australia at the Mount Marion and also the Wodgina deposits. They have a joint venture with Albemarle. They're on our register at 5%. The reason they're there is, I think, clearly they understand the strategic positioning of our existing projects in relation to theirs in the Pilbara and also Mount Marion. You can see in the diagram on the right-hand side. And also they're supporting us very much on the upstream side of our business. So we talked about vertical integration. On the downstream we have Suzhou, on the upstream we have MinRes. So this is a perfect balance for us. ESG is really important. I think we all understand the merits of this. We are engaged with the consultants at the moment, bringing an ESG strategy to market, and we'll be able to report on this in the not too distant future. So let's take a deep dive into Marble Bar firstly. There's a couple of items here I'd like to unpack. Geology, the Archer deposit itself in terms of the resource, and the significant upside potential in relation to our drilling campaign, and then lastly the infrastructure. You know, infrastructure is absolutely crucial, and we have a ripper here in Marble Bar in terms of a sealed road coming through our tenements. So firstly, this is a spodumene-bearing pegmatite at surface, outcropping in multiple areas. I was out at site recently with the board. I was amazed at how much of this was outcropping. So very similar geological setting. Again, it's a granite greenstone interface. We have a maiden resource, again just the starting position. The maiden resource was defined back in 2020, and this is where the upside's coming from. A 60,000 metre campaign underway. We had our first results released to market on Monday of this week, and we released the highest grade results to date. And the infrastructure is very important. We can run if we do move into production, which is our ambition, we can run our tonnes up to Port Hedland and deliver to global markets. So no better project in my view in terms of the infrastructure available at our disposal. And it's a tier 1 jurisdiction, as we all know. One for the Geos. Again, the chart on the right just shows our tenement package. We were extremely aggressive last year in terms of buying up tenements in and around our existing Archer deposit, which is identified in the middle of that diagram. We've got a 15-kilometre strike with lithium mineralisation throughout that strike. So the focus for us at the moment is drilling to the south and to the east. And just to put it in reference, and pinning back to the infrastructure, we're drilling a target at the moment, a significant pegmatite, which is 30 metres off the Marble Bar Road. So yeah, really excited. Lots of really good news flow to come on the back of our assays, which are forthcoming. So this is the first release. We had a batch of 1,400 samples from our program in Q1. Came to date, the highest grade so far. And again, some really nice, fantastic grades coming through, 2.5s, 2.1%. And the intersects now, we're looking to drill these out, and we're chasing the palm. We've got the fingers, we're chasing the palm and the forearm in that really significant pegmatite, which we believe is at depth. Some pictures of progress. Again, that's what an outcropping pegmatite looks like on the left-hand side. You can see the drill rig in the background. We're using Orlando as our driller, really experienced, and also profile drilling. Some logging photos there as well. Interest of time, I'll skip through this next couple of photos. Again, we had our board visit only a few weeks ago at site, meeting community. Quickly on Manna. Manna, similarly, this is an outcropping spodumene-bearing pegmatite. Some really significant mineralisation. We've just received our program of works approval. We will be on site, and we have a 20,000 metre campaign scheduled at this asset. So to put it into perspective, our maiden inferred resource here of 9.9 million tonnes at 1.14% was defined on less than 4,000 metres of drilling. We've got a campaign of 20,000 metres ahead of us. So again, the upside is significant. And getting back to the infrastructure, we've got access to the labs, labour, spare parts in Kalgoorlie, only 100 kilometres from Kalgoorlie. The project itself demonstrated some really positive grades. Apologies, a little bit difficult to read, but it is on the AX, so please read at your leisure. But some fantastic grades, and the pegmatite is open at strike and at depth, and it's at surface, open in multiple directions. So speaking to our geos, they can't wait to get on site and start drilling. Operational update, as I said, we have a program of works approval, so we'll be on site in the next few weeks. We have also mobilised a camp. It certainly beats sleeping in a swag. I'm not sure how many of the audience have slept in a swag before, but to do it in multiple weeks can be a challenge. We're looking after our drillers and our geos, keeping them nice and fresh, so they deliver great results for us. And finishing off, so in summary, this is a runway ahead for us. It's all about drilling. That's where our shareholders want to see our value. We're putting holes in the ground at both sites. We'll have diamond drilling through Q3. We'll run our met tests and our assays in due course, and the ambition here is to release a significant resource and upgrade to our resource the back end of this year, and ultimately move into a DFS as soon as we can. Last slide. So what separates us? We've got two projects. Again, tier 1 jurisdiction. Western Australia is a critically important jurisdiction to the future lithium supply. A great starting position in terms of our maiden resource, close to 20 million tonnes. Fantastic, aggressive drilling campaign this year. Access to real world-class infrastructure, fantastic management team and board. closely aligned, very aggressive, so please watch your space, and ultimately it's going to result in really strong news flow throughout the course of the next 12 to 18 months. So thank you very much. I'll just touch on my last slide, is just our values, and importantly we own it. And I think this is, you know, we recognise this lithium opportunity is a once in 100-year opportunity, and we're in a fantastic position here in Australia. So we've got very big plans, and thanks for your time. Sorry, Chrissy, for going over.
That was